Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slate, and today we're going to talk about Chad Gable's Alpha Academy, about what I hope it is, and but what I hope it is not. Okay, but first, hit the like button for me, especially if you appreciate what I do. Just hit like, please, thank you. Also, hit subscribe unless you're already subscribed, in which case, thank you for being subscribed. So on SmackDown, I guess I have to go through the Otis stuff. Otis got 3 plates. He got 3 or 4 plates. He's eating like Goku from Dragon Ball or every other anime protagonist, shoveling food in his mouth. And then here come the bullies. I don't understand why WWE does bullies. Like I'm talking like silly bullying, like child level bullying. That's what Ziggler and Rude were doing. They were like, "Hey, look at Otis. He's so fat and stupid. He ain't got no friends. Otis so fat and stupid. He ain't got no friends." I'm like, "What is this? What is this? Why? Like, what next? They gonna want the tots out of his pockets? They gonna kick his pockets and tater tots gonna fall out of him? Why are they teenagers? Look, I know Dolph doesn't look that old, but the guy's got to be near 40, and I know Robert Roode is 40. For Christ's sake, be a little bit more adult. Like, like why didn't Dolph do something like come out and lean on the whole Mandy Rose thing and talk about how maybe he called Mandy Rose and she was feeling a little lonely or something like that just to mess with him. But them coming in like, like this Porky's or something like that is stupid. It was real stupid. So Otis gets big mad because he's like Fat Majin Buu and he flips the table over and yeet, yeet, and all of a sudden there's a match. Otis and Dolph Ziggler, and Otis beats Ziggler in like 2 minutes because Dolph doesn't matter. Dolph does not care. Dolph shows up, gets pinned, gets paid, man. Dolph Ziggler is really good. Really, but like The Miz, like John Morrison, he's on a crowded roster where he's never going to really be fully appreciated. He's never going to be fully appreciated. And it's unfortunate. But Dolph gets paid to go out there and lose very, very, very fast matches. And then he gets his yearly summer push to the main event, which makes no sense. But he went out there, did a quick job, and it was good for Otis, I guess. He did a good job for Otis. So Otis was feeling himself, and then all of a sudden Chad Gable strolls up next to Otis, and it's like, you see that? You should be doing that every week. You should be crushing guys every week. And then he talked about bringing out his inner alpha, wanting to bring out Otis's inner alpha, and I was like, okay, no, okay. So he gives him this pamphlet, and he looks at him evil, and Otis is like, eat, eat, and he's like, steaks and weights and some more shit. He was talking, and then he walked away, very excited at this prospect of the Alpha Academy, and Chad Gable was looking real evil, like, got him, and okay, I like what they're doing. Now, what do I hope Chad Gable's Alpha Academy is not? I hope it is not another tag team. Chad Gable is a guy who, when they don't know what to do with him, they put him in a tag team. He started in American Alpha in NXT, which makes sense that they're going with the Alpha thing. I like that. That's a nice touch. He was pretty much a loser in NXT. They teamed him up with that guy's name. I forget his name. Jason Jordan. That's his name. He's been gone so long. I forgot who he was because I had to remember Kurt Angle's son. Okay, so Jason Jordan. Chad Gable was tag team partners with Jason Jordan. American Alpha was fantastic. It was an amazing team. They did really good stuff. Especially they are the ones who put FTR on the map. Don't forget that. And then when he came up to the main roster, they did really good. And then they broke American Alpha up for no reason. They just did it for no reason. And then immediately they started putting, well, not immediately. It took a while, but they ended up putting Chad Gable on teams with Robert Roode. That was actually a pretty good team too. Then they didn't know what to do with him. They sent him to the cruiserweight. They broke that team up. Then they sent him to the cruiserweight division. Then they pulled him from the cruiserweight division. Then he started being a jobber. Then he almost won the King of the Ring. And then he went back to jobbing. Now he's doing this. Then he was, of course, Shorty G for almost a year. Well, he was Shorty G for a year, and Now he's doing Alpha Academy. Now I hope it's not another tag team because he's been doing tag team stuff this whole time. He needs to set himself as an individual. They're going back to the Olympian Chad Gable. He's got the red, white, and blue. He's wearing his jacket, everything. He's going back to being the Olympian. Now, to remind people, when Otis won the Money in the Bank, they went all the way back to Otis. They had Otis to do this promo where he was talking about being a legitimate wrestler, having a legitimate shoot background, or he was a legitimate power lifter, or one of the two. Because people were saying like he didn't deserve it, blah 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 blah. So WWE looks to cement him as a legitimate athlete. He looks like a fat goober, but he's a legitimate athlete. And so maybe this is where we're going with Chad Gable. He's gonna pretend to be Otis's coach or something like that, and that's fine. That's fine for me. What I really want this to be is similar to Catch Point or Ring Kampf or something like that, where Chad Gable is creating like this stable of shooters, and they're going to go around twisting people like Imperium, except for SmackDown, okay, and no Walter. It's going to suck without Walter, but hey, we got to work with what we got here, because you do have some people with some legitimate backgrounds that you can bring up. Now, it's similar to, of course, Thatcher, what Thatcher is doing in NXT. That's kind of what I have in my mind for the Alpha Academy, is that it would be like the Timothy Thatcher school, where Chad Gable would be essentially like a Stu Hart stretching guys, or similar to what Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak were doing when they were doing their whole Drew Gulak as Daniel Bryan's training partner. I love that. That was great. I wanted Chad Gable to be involved in that. And maybe it seems like they're just going to take that idea, apply it to Chad Gable, and send it on, because Bryan is off TV and Gulak is now chasing the 24/7 title around in circles on Raw. But Gable can pull that off. He can pull it off. That's what I want it to be. I want it to be like a stable of shooters, similar to Imperium, similar to Ring Kampf, similar to Thatch Can. I want that to be a stable as well. What they had it called Catch Point and Evolve. That's what I want. I want like a stable of shooters with Chad Gable basically trying to bring out the best in all of these people, and also showing what he can do. Because first, I think it would like Kurt Angle had Team Angle, right? But at that point, Angle had already won like world titles and was main event, and he could be taken seriously as a teacher. When the problem with Gulak is that he was not serious enough to be a teacher. We got that he was good technically, but he didn't have enough wins. He didn't have enough wins, and Chad Gable also does not have enough wins. So we need to establish Gable as a killer Olympian wrestler on TV. Everybody can look up his resume if they want to, but we shouldn't rely on that. We should often, if we can establish a character on TV, we should establish the character on TV. Show me that he can wrestle. Put him as the last guy on the Survivor Series team. Have Chad Gable go out there, out wrestle somebody, and win a spot on the Survivor Series team and do well at the Survivor Series. That's what I want to see, even though he probably end up losing anyway, because Keith Lee is on the other team. So it's kind of like, that's what I want. I want a stable of shooters, or a stable of legitimate, serious wrestlers, with Chad Gable as being sort of their coach, while also him being a great wrestler in his own right and being a bit delusional. Because I think we all like the delusional heel. But Kurt Angle is not delusional when he says he's the best wrestler in the world with a fucking gold medal. There's no delusions about that. Delusional is everybody who think they can beat Kurt Angle. So it needs to be a similar thing with Chad Gable. And Chad Gable is not an Olympic gold medalist, but I think he's the highest ranking shooter on the roster next to Brock and Shelton Benjamin. Well, Shelton Benjamin is probably the best shooter on the roster. Without, he doesn't have Brock's size. But, so maybe it's like Brock, Shelton and Brock are probably like equals, except Brock probably is bigger. And then Gable. and then probably Riddle. But you could do that with Gable. He's high enough on that list that maybe he's even above Shelton. Because I don't think Shelton was an Olympian. No, he wasn't. He was a collegiate coach though. That's a well. That's a well. It doesn't matter, right? Let's not get into the nook and crannies of it. Let's just put Gable above Benjamin. Okay, let's just do that. So he would be after Brock, who was he'd probably be a better wrestler than Brock then, because Brock wasn't an Olympian either. He just won that UFC title. And he kind of did that off of his size. But so let's put Gable at the top of the list, but the size difference is, it wouldn't be in the same weight class. But he can pull it off, but you have to establish it first. You have to establish that he's that good at wrestling. Now, how do you do that? I don't know. Who do you do that with? I don't know. They took Bryan out. They took Owens out. Sami Zayn's the Intercontinental Champion. It seemed like Chad Gable's going to be a heel. So, I mean, who are you going to throw out there to be the red meat? Apollo Crews? And it seemed like they were protecting Apollo Crews because he did not get beat by Sami Zayn. He got counted out. So it seems like I love that Sami Zayn got counted out, by the way. I think that was fantastic. I'm not making a separate video just for Sami Zayn's count out thing. But somebody said that he was basically like a mad scientist, that he's coming up with different ways of getting out of these matches. I do love it. I do love that too. Sami Zayn is fantastic. I just wish I've liked Sami Zayn a lot more after I muted him on Twitter and I don't have to read his anti-American socialist garbage. I don't have to hear that. I don't have to read it. So I'm in better spirits when it comes to Sami Zayn. But I do want Chad Gable to have like a team. And I think that would be dope. I think that would be dope. Have a team, not be a part of a team. There's a difference, okay? I don't want him to have a tag team partner, and his tag team partner is Otis. That would fucking suck. Mainly because the whole point of breaking up Heavy Machinery was so that Otis could go on his own. But since they took the Money in the Bank, he can't go on his own. Now, okay, pair him up with Gable for a little while, not as a tag team, but as Gable being his coach, and then Gable, of course, turning on him or something like that a little bit later. I think that would be fun. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Take the $1 challenge. Give me $1 if you enjoy what I do. And I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you guys later.